Hi everybody, I'm Edie. I just graduated high school. Phew. But that means it's summer vacation and all I have to do is practice my viola. So obviously instead of doing that, I'm starting a YouTube channel. Even though I'm lazy, I know you guys aren't because some of you guys are probably future music majors. Since I just came out of that difficult journey, I know how hard it is to be thinking of auditions, and it seems like no one is there who understands fully how much work it takes. But I wanted to give you guys some tips and tricks that I learned throughout my first-ish semester of senior year that I think will help you guys along. So let's just get right into it. Yay! So for a little bit more about my qualifications on the topic, I just survived my college audition experience, and I will be attending Eastman School of Music in the fall. I applied to 8 schools or so, and I was accepted into all and waitlisted at 1. Let's just get right into it because this is really, really awkward for me. My first most important tip: stay organized, okay? Get a spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet, fill it out with your audition repertoire, the schools you're applying to, the audition deadlines and dates and everything. Any information that you think you could possibly need to know about the school. Like, do they require a repertoire sheet? Do they want you to submit essays? Do they want you to submit a musical resume? All of those details that seem like they're obvious for one school become really, really confusing when you're trying to keep track of like 5 to 10 schools at a time. So if you can have all of that information in one place, that'll help you get so much more organized already. And then I color coordinated it. So like I would have the schools that I had finished my pre-screenings for and submitted in orange, and then the ones that I hadn't done anything yet for in white, and then the ones that I was completely finished applying to and auditioning to in green. That way it was just so much easier to look at. If you want me to post a link to my spreadsheet, it's kind of overkill, but like I can send what I use to stay organized on this. If that's something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. Yeah. One piece of advice is to learn overlapping repertoire. Learn an amount of music that feels comfortable to you. I really wanted to apply to the Mannes School of Music in New York City, but since they asked for 2 movements of my concerto, I felt like that wasn't going to be doable, and I decided not to apply there. And it sucked, but I'm glad that I committed my time to the pieces that I would need to play again and again, instead of one song that I would need to play for one school and not any other ones. I learned 5 songs. I'm gonna get in trouble for calling these songs, bro. Someone's gonna watch this and they're gonna be like, they're pieces, actually. I learned 5 pieces. The 2 movements of Bach, Walton Viola Concerto, Clark Viola Sonata, and an etude. And that was it. And that felt more manageable to me than learning a bunch of different songs. I used the Clark Viola Sonata to match a bunch of different criteria at different schools. Some places would ask for a piece of choice, other ones would ask for a piece by an underrepresented composers, and then some of them just said point blank, we need a movement of a sonata. I used the Clark Viola Sonata for all of those categories instead of learning 3 different songs. So try to minimize your workload. Another way to do that is by not starting every single song at the same time. Every single piece at the same time. I started learning the Clark Viola Sonata after I had turned in all my pre-screenings. So I think December, winter break time, I started practicing it. It was nice to have something else to practice other than the same pieces I had been working on before, but it did mean that I had less time to prepare it and I really needed to focus on it once I started working on it. So just bear that in mind. Some things you can work on later. I didn't have to record the Clark Sonata, so that's why I waited, but if you wait, you have to be willing to put in the work afterwards to make it sound as close to the same level as the pieces you had already been practicing for however many months. Write your essays early, as early as possible. For me, I really wanted to get my essays out of the way before I needed to be recording and submitting my pre-screenings, so that in the months of November and December I could be focusing on my videos as much as I could. I committed myself to doing early action deadlines for the schools that had them. So all of the university programs that I applied to as early as possible, just so I didn't have to think about it anymore. It was stressful to write all the essays, but I was able to just do it and then not think about it anymore throughout the time that I was auditioning. If your college gives you the option to apply early academically and do your music requirements later on, then I would highly, highly recommend doing that. Indiana University let me do that, and DePaul let me do that. Boston University didn't let me do that. But there are some schools that will let you apply early, and then it's a huge weight lifted, so I recommend it. So let's talk trial lessons, because I think it's really complicated, and I know a lot of people are going to ask me about it. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for music majors to do trial lessons with every single teacher that they're applying to, because it's the first tip of advice that people give you is, oh, have you met up with the professor at XYZ? I don't think you need to do that for every school, and I did not do that for most of them. Don't think that it's a necessity throughout your audition journey, and if you don't have a lesson with the professor, you're not going to get in, because that's not true. One of the schools that I didn't meet up with a professor there actually ended up giving me a full ride scholarship. So if you are like, oh, I didn't meet up with the professor at this school, so I definitely won't get in there. Don't throw that idea out the window, because it's not true, and it ultimately comes down to your audition. That being said, trial lessons definitely can help both you and the professor, because the professor gets to see how you learn, and you get to see how you like the teacher. So not all professors are going to charge money for a trial lesson, but the ones that do are probably going to charge a lot. Be prepared. In my opinion, the best time to have a trial lesson is your first semester of senior year, because the professors will remember you and vouch for you when they see you later on. Like in your pre-screening videos, if they remember you, then they'll be like, oh, this student was really, really awesome. We should totally pass them to the next round. And then again at your auditions, if they're like, that wasn't your strongest playing in the audition room, but I know you from your trial lesson and you did an amazing job and you have so much potential, I really want to teach you, then it can help you in that department. It can also help with scholarships, which are important to me, probably to you. So overall, trial lessons, not necessary, but helpful. You can also do these lessons over Zoom, which is what I did for MSM in Eastman. And it's harder to get that sense of connection, but it was still a great learning opportunity. So I would say any chance that you can get, you should take it. Let's move on to recording. Recording pre-screenings. First of all, before you even get to the point where you need to be professionally recording, just start recording yourself on your phone in your practice sessions, because that'll make you much less nervous for when it's time to actually record the real thing. It also is a really helpful tool for feedback. So yeah, record run-throughs of your pieces, record excerpts, just start getting into that habit sooner rather than later, and then it'll feel a whole lot less stressful when it actually happens. The other thing is to start recording earlier than you need to, because that ensures that you have enough time to get a good recording. I started recording my pre-screenings at the middle to end of November, when they weren't due until the end of December. Don't expect a perfect take by that time, but at least you'll have something down and you know how to grow past that, and it'll take a whole lot of weight off. And who knows, you might get a really good take in November and then be like, oh, I don't need to do this ever again, and it'll feel so nice. Find a nice recording space. Check out your youth orchestra if you're in one, see if they have a space where you can record. That's what I did. I recorded in the basement of where my youth orchestra rehearses. It was fine. See about your school, if they have an auditorium you can use. My school auditorium doesn't have the best acoustics, So I don't recommend recording there if you went to the same high school as me, because it did not make me sound good. If you go to church or have a connection that is in a church, like you know someone, you know a friend, that sounds really good. Church acoustics, especially if you're playing Bach, it sounds so much better. So if you have access to a decent recording space, use that instead of like your bedroom. For equipment, you don't need to have the most high-tech camera when you're recording. I just used my cell phone and it was fine. But you want to make sure that your audio is clear. So I invested in a nice microphone, which you don't have to do this, but it's this. The Rode Wireless Go Rode Wireless Go 2. I highly recommend. I'm using this setup right now to record. It comes with this like tiny microphone. This isn't sponsored, by the way. I'm not a popular enough YouTuber to have sponsors yet. But yeah, and then I just put this on a music stand and it recorded everything and picked up really great. So if you have a little spending money, I recommend investing in one of those. Be confident. Good luck. You can do it. Pre-screenings are hard and stressful, but it'll be over soon enough. So here's the situation about virtual auditions, and I do not recommend them to anybody. I took one virtual audition, and remember that I said I got waitlisted to one school? It was the school that I did a virtual audition to, which wasn't even one of the most selective schools that I had applied to. I couldn't travel there in person, and I ended up getting the flu that week anyways. So I played this audition with the flu, and it was fine. I think I played well, but the fact of the matter is that these schools want to see that you're interested. It's like for the normies out here, non-music major people, like you'll hear the phrase demonstrated interest or something, where like the schools want to see that you're interested by getting on their email list or whatever. It's kind of the same thing. Like the music schools want to know that you're fully interested in their school, and so they want to see you showing up in person. So you can do a virtual audition when you need to. The odds are not in your favor. That's just the facts of it. I feel like it's really hard to get accepted when you're auditioning virtually. So for your top choice schools, I would always recommend doing it in person. But that's just my experience with virtual. I'm sure that there are some people out there who have had much success with virtual auditions. I just don't know any of them. My last tip is just don't be afraid of reaching out to people for advice. I was a chronic Googler type of person where I would search up every little bit of information about every school and everything, and I was really nervous. I talked to my friends a lot who were already in college, or like my friends who were also music majors alongside me, and having that support system will really make it a lot easier for you as you apply, because us music majors are a small group and we need to stick together. So if anyone watching this has any questions, feel free to comment or anything, like reach out at any time. I'll be here to support you. You have other people in your life who are here to support you. Every musician I know just wants the best for other musicians. We're cheering you on, and good luck. If you've made it this way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the advice, and I hope it's helpful to you. Best of luck in your auditioning. I'd like to make a Q&A video, so if you want to leave your questions about anything, literally anything, music related, college related, high school related, book related, Animal Crossing related, I love everything. So comment down below and let me know, and I'll try to respond in either the comment section or in a later video. Thank you so much for watching my first ever YouTube video and for cheering me on. Mwah!